Hey guys, I just wanted to start this video off beforehand with a warning. This is all in good fun. I know that I do cover some serious topics here, but I'm trying to keep it lighthearted, so if you could do the same, that would be much appreciated. And I would also appreciate it if you could try to hear me out at least before getting triggered about it. And also, I didn't exactly plan any of these answers out, so these are totally on the fly and not like researched or anything, so just keep that in mind. Alright, thank you. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys, what's up? So, I asked you guys to send me some unpopular opinions that you either have or know of, and I'm gonna respond to them and let you guys know what I think about these opinions. Let me find what you guys sent me. So here's the first one. Unpopular opinion. I think Nirvana is overrated. Kurt was an incredible person and I won't deny that. But the music is dated. I grew up in the era of grunge and it didn't age well. A lot of grunge bands who didn't end Bush, Pearl Jam, etc. didn't age well and faded into nothing. Nirvana only stays because of the suicide of Kurt and the type of person he was. The person deserves to be revered, but the music should be left in the 90s where it belongs. Okay, so I kind of have to agree with you on that one. I mean, I'm personally like a huge fan of Kurt Cobain, but yeah, no, I think the music itself is dated. I think grunge as like a fashion style is super awesome, and I think that's mostly what we should take from that era, but I definitely agree that the music is a bit dated. I mean, I still really enjoy it, but it's definitely not on my top list of musics to listen to. Yeah, no, I definitely think he died before he had a chance to burn out or people to lose interest, kind of like they have with everything else, but yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Okay, next. I would like your opinion on people who are flashers. Guys running around showing their dicks in public versus girls who think public nudity is cute and their kink. Do you think it's a one-way street with that? Like girls calling it a kink, and if guys does it, they are just fucking creeps and perverts? I think it's equally messed up. Okay, yeah, so I totally agree with that. I also think it's equally messed up. I think, yeah, so my opinion on it is, regardless of your gender, there's two different types of public nudity, in my opinion. There's real public nudity where you're like literally showing strangers your naked body, which is a no-go and is, I think, illegal pretty much everywhere. Yeah, no, it's definitely, don't do that. However, there is a way to make it seem like you're doing public nudity without actually doing the public nudity, if you know what I mean. Like, that's what porn stars do, is they make it seem like they're in public. Well, most porn stars, ones that are following the rules anyway, they just make it seem like they're in public. So basically, if you're involving unconsenting people in your sexual life in any shape or form, just don't do that, you know? And if you want to know more about how I feel about specifically people that make porn in public places and they aren't faking it, you should go watch my Lana video. Next one. I just have to say that I wish people would stop shoving their beliefs down others' throats. You're allowed to be who or whatever you want to be, but don't chew my head off because I didn't correctly identify you. There's just a lot of self-entitlement and it bugs me. I want people to be happy and comfortable enough to be who they want to be. I just don't think it's okay to push the limits, so to speak. There's a time and a place for everything, just saying. Okay, so I want to say that I agree with this for the most part, but I think it's definitely a two-way street here. Like, there's a lot of people in today's current climate that are pushing for acceptance and recognition and equality, and I fully back those people. I'm fucking with you, like 100% there. However, there's always extremists in any group, and in my personal experience, if you want someone to respect you and to listen to what you want and your ideas and thoughts and opinions, and you want them to actually care, yelling and name calling and putting other people into boxes that you decide that they fit in is not helpful or conducive to growth, like at all. Like, it does not help. So yeah, I agree with this for the most part, but as long as you yourself are also putting in that effort to try and listen to those super angry extremists, because usually they have at least one or two good points that are being hidden by all of their anger and frustration and whatever else is driving them. You know, it gets masked, which is why that's not like a helpful way to try and get your points across, like just screaming at people. And I mean, like, I totally get where you're coming from when you scream at people, because I definitely used to be that kind of person where, like, if someone didn't just automatically agree with me or have the same opinions as me or beliefs, or I thought that they said something that was like, I don't know, whatever fucking buzzword you want to use. I definitely used to be one of those crazy social justice warriors, like, not quite to the extent that some of them are, but I was definitely, when I was an angry teenager, I found a lot of solace in that kind of community. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that anytime I tried to get any of those super valid points across to people that I cared about and wanted them to agree with me, like, if I just started off by yelling at them and blaming them and calling them racist or ableist or sexist or transphobic or homophobic or whatever it is, like, if you just go and immediately label people, it doesn't help, because they stop listening, you know? It's like when your mom wants you to do the dishes. You don't want to do the dishes, and you're gonna try and think of any way to not do the dishes, but if she comes over to you and explains, like, hey honey, I just had a super long day at work, can you please do the dishes? I just really can't do it right now, so can you please help me? You're much more willing to listen to that than, you haven't done the dishes, go to your room, you're in trouble, like, I can't believe you didn't do the dishes, you're such a piece of shit, like, blah blah blah. Like, which are you gonna listen to? You know, like, it's pretty obvious, and it's hard to separate yourself when you're in that place of anger and you really want your agenda, whatever it is, you want it to be pushed. Like, I get it, but, you know, there's a certain point when you have to stop being angry and start being calculating and try to see both sides of the argument so that you can try and understand where the other person is coming from, because that's where you find a middle ground, and the middle ground is where peace happens, and the middle ground is where growth happens, and the middle ground is where change happens. And where I'm at, I'm tired of everyone just being angry about everything and just yelling about everything. Like, at this point, I'm just ready for real change, not pseudo change, that just because more people are getting angry does not mean actual change is happening. It just means more people are being divided, really. So yeah, I don't know, kind of went on a tangent there, but that's how I feel about that, because yeah, like, I feel like all these causes are so important, and they just get fucking tarnished by all of the social justice warrior bullshit. Like, no one's gonna listen to you. Nobody gives a shit. Like, the second you come off as preachy or holier than thou, or like that you're shaming someone when they actually may or may not have done something wrong, it's just not fair, and no one's gonna listen to you, and it ruins your fucking movement that you're supposed to be helping, but really you're just fucking ruining it. Anyway, okay. Moving on. They make me fucking angry. Unpopular opinion, George Harrison is the best Beatle. Okay. What is all this music related stuff? Um, let me see. I'm gonna have to say I don't have a favorite Beatle. My favorite is when all the Beatles are together making music. My least favorite is when they're singular, because they are hit or miss at best. So that's all I gotta say about that. La, 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 la. Unpopular opinion: Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber are twats. Let's see. I don't know if I would say they're twats, but they're definitely not great, and they're definitely overrated. I mean, like, some of their music is good, but, like, between the two of them, I think there's, like, a handful of songs I like, which is not saying much if you're an artist with that many songs under your belt. So that's just how I feel. Unpopular opinion: mint chocolate is an abomination. You're an abomination! Mint chocolate is fucking amazing, okay? And so is black licorice, okay? Fuck you guys. Also, pineapple on pizza is amazing. So you guys can suck my dick. Unpopular opinion: Beyonce and Rihanna are overrated. I definitely think Beyonce is overrated. Beehive, don't come for me, okay? She's overrated. She makes good songs, but they're not that great, okay? They're average. And also, she doesn't even fucking write most of them, so sit down. And then Rihanna, I mean, like, I'm gay as fuck for Rihanna, so, like, I'm definitely biased. But as far as her music goes, same as Beyonce, I would say. Overrated. Still good, but overrated, and she doesn't write most of it, so. Yeah, I kind of don't really like when artists don't write their own songs. I feel like it's kind of lame, but that's just me. Okay. Everyone should have a gun. Alrighty, so let's see. How do I feel about this? Okay, so I want to preface this by saying that I am totally a supporter of the Second Amendment. I personally really love guns, and I think that, like, okay, I totally understand the argument for arming people, like arming more people. I understand the argument, and logically it does make sense. However, whenever people bring up this argument, they forget to take into account that that only really works if everyone is really well trained in using them, and proper storage and proper cleaning and just like proper handling in general, and that they also have a secure place to store it, and that there's never going to be any human error involved, which is, it's just not ever going to be possible for any of that. So there's just too much room for error in that argument, you know? Like, I get it and I understand it, because yes, in some situations a good guy with a gun is the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun. So while I get it and I don't want people's guns to be taken away, I think that there is a better solution, and I'm gonna tell you guys what I personally think the solution could be. I think, well, first of all, I don't think the age restriction really matters. I think that's kind of irrelevant, and it feels like kind of more of a band-aid really than anything else. So I think it's kind of an irrelevant point to bring up, you know, because it really doesn't stop that many people. I think if there is security guards at schools, they need to be not mall cops. They need to be well trained, and they need to have experience in the line of fire, in my opinion. You know, not some guy that has never shot a gun before, you know, like it's not helpful, and raises even more room for error and possible kids getting shot when they don't need to be. I also think the illegal gun trade, I think that's a huge issue, which is hard to control for a various number of reasons, but I think that needs to actually be addressed, because I haven't really heard anyone talking about that as much. And also trade shows, those are a big issue. I think that background checks definitely need to be increased, and I really think that there should be a similar licensing process to getting a car, or getting your driver's license, or like a motorcycle license, or some kind of specialty license. You know, like, you can get like a shotgun, the same as you could get like a normal driving license. Then if you want, you can get an enhanced license to get like a handgun or something else that is beyond just a basic shotgun. But I also think that there should be like gun clubs that are the main place for people to store their firearms, kind of like a gym or something, where you have like your own locker where you can keep all your stuff in it and locked and guarded and safe, and it doesn't have to be at your home. I mean, I think people, if they have carry and conceal, which I think carry and conceal should not be on a state level, I think it should be on a federal level so that it can be like a sweeping decision and be more regulated that way. But I think if you have a carry and conceal permit, then you would be allowed to have like a shotgun or something at your house for protection. Like if you must have that, but it would have to be locked in a safe. It would have to have a lock on the trigger. It would have to be, you know, like stored properly. And I know that the argument for like why that is not a good idea is that if you need to use it, you don't have time to get it. But I mean, the possibility of you having to use it versus the possibility of an accident happening, like the accident is just so much more possible than the possibility that you would have to actually be in a situation to use it. Because usually when people think that that kind of situation is happening, it may or may not actually be happening. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that that's a huge issue. And I think that police violence and everything does need to be taken into account here because, you know, they're not separate issues. They do need to be brought together. I think that there's a better way to address the racial gun violence than a lot of people are currently addressing it, but I do think it's an important point to bring up, and it can't be ignored if we actually want to solve gun violence in America. We can't just solve gun violence in America for white kids. We have to solve gun violence in America for everybody, because otherwise it's just another band-aid. So yeah, I guess that's what I think on that. We should have the right to bear arms, and I think that we should have the right to bear arms in the safest way possible that doesn't allow for as much error as our current laws allow for, if that makes sense. So, unpopular opinion. Feet are the hottest women's body part. So I replied to this. I don't think that's as unpopular of an opinion as you think it is, but I'll still add it. If you think that's an unpopular opinion, you have not been on the foot fetish side of the internet, because, my god. Goku is the villain of Dragon Ball Z. All I have to say about that one is it's very intriguing, and I would love to see a film theory on that. Okay, Dragon Ball Super sucks. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really watched enough of Dragon Ball Super to say whether or not it sucks, but what I saw of it did not suck, but I also wasn't paying super close attention. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave that one out there for you guys to discuss in the comment section. Religious leaders supporting Trump. So my opinion on religious leaders supporting Trump is I think it's a tad hypocritical, because a lot of them are all for family values and whatnot, but then they turn around and support someone who has raped, cheated on, and left multiple wives, and seems to take very, very little interest in his children unless he wants to fuck them. So it just seems a bit weird to me, but that's just me. The Last Jedi sucks, but I didn't actually mind Rose as a character. Yeah, I'm not as huge of a fan of the last movies as everyone else seems to be. I mean, I think they're okay. Like, it's still Star Wars, and I can see that they're trying, but like, it's never gonna have the same magic that the original movies had, because there was just something really special about those, you know? And I think Rose as a character was a tad heavy-handed for the feminist agenda, but in this day and age, with that popular of a movie, I really don't think we could have avoided that either. I don't think she's as bad as some people are saying, but I didn't think she was a bit unnecessary. I didn't think Black Panther lived up to the hype. So I have not seen Black Panther, and I'm not really interested in seeing Black Panther, and that's purely just for the reason that I don't really like Marvel movies. They kind of piss me off with all of their fucking character introductions all the goddamn time, like let us breathe. But anyway, my girlfriend who's from Nigeria saw it, and she was just very angry that people were using parts of her culture to forward their own agendas. And I tend to defer to her on that kind of stuff because I know that she knows much more than I can ever know, and I generally agree with her on most things, although I'm far more liberal than she is. So yeah, I can see how it wouldn't live up to the hype, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really say what I thought of it. It seemed a bit preachy and on the nose with some of the points they were trying to make. And not that I have an issue with any of the points they were trying to make, I just would like a bit more finesse when trying to make those points, because when it comes off really obvious, it's just kind of like ruins the illusion of the movie. I think that's all of the ones that I got, but I had one more thing I wanted to say, which was just that I am not really a fan of the current woke or be canceled atmosphere that's happening. Kind of off the rant that I was going on earlier, but I just feel like it creates a very divisive place where it doesn't need to. Like, we already are divided into like a two-party group here in America for the most part, which I have issues with already. And then on top of it, we have to just like go around and label everyone because we jump to assumptions because of things that they say that we may or may not take out of context, or may not understand the whole point they're trying to make. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, before jumping to any conclusions about someone, just try hearing them out. You know, sometimes you do kind of have to take people at their word, and unless you have like explicit proof that you know that they're lying about something, I mean, like, you're totally entitled to follow your gut feeling and not associate with said person. But at the same time, you can't really go around labeling people, and because, you know, you wouldn't like it if someone did that to you, so I don't think it's really fair to do it the other way either, you know? I guess people just need to be nicer to each other and have a bit more compassion, and just try to listen to each other more, and try to just stay calm when you're trying to explain something that you care deeply about to someone else, because you're gonna get a lot more out of that interaction than you would if you just started yelling at them, because yeah, it just doesn't help. It doesn't help. And you could alienate someone who would have otherwise totally agreed with you and supported you in your cause. And I don't see why you would want to alienate someone. I also think it's important to say that when you're on the internet, you can't take everything that everyone says super seriously either. You know, you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt. And I know that I just said to take people for their word, but I think you can do both. You can take someone for their word and take it with a grain of salt as well. And I'm not talking about anyone in particular here. I'm just talking in general because I've just seen it happen a lot recently. Can you imagine how shit that would be if everyone is telling you that you think this thing or you think this way when that's not what you think and that's not what you were trying to say, you know? And no one's gonna listen to you anymore because they've already made it up in their mind how you feel about something. Like, it's just not fair to do to somebody, and you wouldn't like it if someone did it to you, so don't do it to other people. That's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm probably gonna have to fucking edit this down, but yeah. Well, after that long ass ranty session, I'm gonna smoke, and then I'm gonna go edit part 2 of my email video that I just put up the day before Sunday. fucking whatever day it was that I put that up. I'm gonna go work on part 2, and I will have that up for you guys soon. But yeah, those one take way longer to edit than this one because I don't really have to do as much. But I'm also not expecting this one to get monetized, so fuck it. Alright guys, see you in my next video.
Hey guys, so thank you for watching the whole video. If you made it this far, that is super awesome. I just wanted to say before you get all bent and go blow the fuck out of my comment section, just be nice, okay? If anyone is just being a straight up bigot in my comments, I'm not gonna have any of that. If you want to have a civil conversation about things, please go for it. You know, just try to be mature, I say to the fucking children of the YouTube comments, which I know it'll never happen, but anyway, yeah. And don't forget to follow all of my social media accounts that are listed right here. Also, I did not add on here, but I have a new Instagram account, which is Indigo White TV, so if you could go give that a follow. It's on private, but I will accept you. So, yep. Alright. That's all I have to say.